Alright, so we're going to look at how to service the Micro Scooter Speed Plus headset. So I've dismantled everything, and what we're going to do is we're going to use some good old WD-40. Want to come a bit closer, Ryan? Down here. So yeah, I want them to see what we're doing. Come down closer. That's right. So what we'll do is, because I was scootering in the rain and sand went into the headset, because I managed to come off it as I went through the grass. So I've sprayed in there. I'll also spray in here just to make sure I get all of the sand out. You don't want to use water because that will eventually cause rust in your bearings. You want to avoid rust. Right, and then we'll just use paper towel to clean off the WD-40, so you can see all that. There we go, nice and clean in there. Make sure you're getting all this, right?
I am.
Awesome. Alright, we'll grab the bearings and just give it a clean, like that. Don't put them underwater. Big no-no for bearings. Alright. And we'll just dry this one off as well. And get the paper towel in there. Good job, Ray. Yeah, my daughter's doing the videotaping for me. Let's just get it in there as well. Alright, there we go. So that's all the sand out. Let's just give it a really good wipe down. Oh, we've got some paper towel in there. There we go, you can see it's all nice and clean in there now. You know what, I think I might turn it upside down and spray it as well, because I suspect that the sand is settling inside between the bearings, and doing it from the top side doesn't really get to it. Yeah, there we go. It is actually full. Maybe I'll use the high pressure. There we go. That should have gotten rid of all the sand. There we go. That looks pretty good in there. I don't see any sand. It looks all right. Oh, hang on. Wait up, yes I do. There we go. Yeah, you want to use WD-40 with the nozzle so that you can really get the oil in there. Oh, I don't know what that is. Solvent, whatever. Right. That should be all the sand gone. So we'll come back to this guy. Give him a good wipe down. Make sure there's no sand in there at all. Looking good. Yeah, see how it's all clean? That's exactly what we want. Now, where to go there? So we need to lubricate this up. Now I've bought some wheel bearing grease. It's molybdenum based, so it will look a bit black. That's normal. It's not contaminated or anything. I'll just grab some. Now, long diagonal side is the top, short diagonal side is the bottom, and I've just realized that I've cleaned the wrong side. Oh no, I just got the grease all over the... let's put this down. There we go. And get all that off. Oh, that nice and clean in there too. Awesome. Good job, Raya. Alright. Now, get some more grease because it all came off on the towel. Careful not to put your leg onto that grease there, right? All right, here we go. You only need to put it where the bearings are going to be. You don't need to put it anywhere else. So it's down the bottom here. Problem is with these cotton buds is they absorb it all. No, I'm going to bend it actually. There. I'm almost tempted to use my finger. I think this stuff is not the right stuff to use. Oh, you know what? No, I don't want to use my finger. I'm a little too precious, I guess. Here we go. There. I guess it can't hurt to put it onto the bearing directly as well. So what we'll do is I'll grab this and I'm going to put it directly onto the bearing. There we go. Like that. And I'm going to get my fingers dirty, but whatever. There we go. Alright. So we'll put that in like that. And then we'll slide it in like that. Remember, shorter angle is the bottom, and much better. That's much better. Alright, so we'll stand that up over here like so, and then we'll do the other side. So we'll just flip that over. Yeah, you can see that there's grime in there, so that's probably where it's collected all the sand. So actually, let's put it over here. There we go. Yeah. There is stuff in there still. I'll get another shot. There we go. And there we go. You know what? Micro Scooter would have probably been better off giving you some sealed bearings, and maybe that'll be my next mod. I'll look into getting some sealed bearings for the head. That's certainly a lot cleaner now. There's no grime in there, so I'm not expecting any more sand. Yeah, Micro Scooter, for all their talk of quality, they could have given you sealed bearings. Alright, so we'll oil this up. Now that's going to go on the top downwards. Just make sure there's no sand there. No. Yeah, so that will go down that way. So that will go on the top. So we'll need to put it all in from the top there. So we'll grab this guy, grab some more grease like that, grab him, and start oiling this up. Whoa. There we are. Probably should have done it from the top. You know what? I am going to take this off. It's going to be easier doing it this way. There we go. And wow, that's a lot in one area. I'm not convinced you need a hell of a lot of grease there. I don't think you do. It'll distribute itself out with usage anyway. And the good thing is you've got gravity working for you on the top. So with the movement, it'll make its way down. Right, so there it is on the top. I'll put that back on. Like that. Put that back up there. And then, did we clean this guy? I can't remember.
No.
I don't think we did we?
Mm-mm.
Alright. try not to leave paper in there. Cool. Right, and put some grease on him. There. It's very...
Black?
Yeah. It's molybdenum, I guess, so... Molybdenum is a metal. Whoa! Alright, so we will grab this back, put him down like that, and then clean my fingers.
Well, what about the black stuff that's still on it? What about the black stuff that's still on it?
Where? Oh no, that's fine. Alright, so we're gonna bring that all the way down. Go. Now, well, I will put this down first, and then I'll say a few things about how tight that needs to be. Is it coming in clear?
Yeah.
Right. So the trick with this is that you want to tighten this bottom one to the point where it turns freely, but there's no vertical movement. See how there's no vertical movement? The last thing you want is for this to be too loose, so you get that happening. That'll ruin the bearings and also collect a lot of dust in there and sand and whatever. You kind of want it to be tight, and you also hear rattling as well. So you want it to be no vertical movement there. So it can come down a bit more, but you still want it, see that's barely moving freely. You want it to be freely moving, there we go. Freely moving, but also no vertical movement. So once you've got it, bring the top nut down. Now the trick here is you want to tighten the top nut without tightening the bottom one. So alright, so when you go to tighten this, like I said, no vertical movement, but lots of free play. And just allow a fraction of a turn the opposite way, only because when you go to tighten it, it will turn with it. So hold it and tighten as much as you can by hand. Here we go. Make sure that this is still fine. No, it's gone a bit tight. So rotate that a bit that way. Tighten it with your fingers. That's really good, and no vertical movement. Right, so tighten as hard as you can with your finger so that this doesn't rotate. Make sure you've got this sitting in here so that the whole thing doesn't turn. Then with the wrench, like, come on, fiddly work. I hate fiddly work. There we go. Tighten it up. There we go. As hard as you can. There we go. So still lots of rotation there, but no vertical movement. Nice and tight. So that's not going to loosen up as you steer. And now you're ready to assemble it. All right. So now we're ready to assemble. So I recommend you use an Allen key with a very long stem, because it was a bugger to open these ones up. It was very tough, a lot of work. So first thing is actually no, let's put all this together. The problem is that originally mine was a little off center, and so I'm going to use this opportunity to get it to look right. So that's the front, and that's the front, and push the ball in. There we go. And you probably want to come down as far as you can so that there's no room for it to move up and loosen up. But at the same time, I'm tipping you might need to tighten it. So I don't know if, I think perhaps leaving a gap might be a smart thing, I'm not sure. There was a little gap originally. You know what? I'm not going to put a gap. I'll let you know how that goes. So here we are. It's in. Problem is that, like I said, originally it was a little off center. Let's put it onto the tile. Now, the best thing I can suggest is that we tighten it up, but not too tight so that we can adjust it. So, I will tighten it up so that it will hold. Oh, hang on, let's make sure that that's in all the way. Yep, it's in all the way. And make sure that if you come over here, Raya, from the top, make sure that that's sitting in the center of the gap. Over here. Oh, sorry. See, the center of the gap. There we go. All right, hold it. Pause it now. I'm going to start tightening it, but you don't need to see me tighten it. All right, so I've tightened it reasonably tight, but not so tight that you would want to use it outdoors just yet. Only because I want to adjust it to get it perfectly centered. Because when I purchased it, it wasn't, and I was a little surprised and a little disappointed at the same time. So, make sure that you've got it sitting in the right way, so that points forward, and you've got this diagonal angle coming at the top. If you haven't got it on this side, then you've made a mistake. You need to stop and start again. Alright, so I'm going to lie it on its side and put these screws in. No, the long ones. Hang on. I think you're sitting on one. Yeah, there we are, Rhea. Cool. Now, I don't think there's a right and a wrong way for this. Hang on, let me just confirm that. Because there's a thread on either side from memory. Oh, no. Oh, there you go. There is a right and a wrong side. The one with the thread is the, hang on. The one with the thread belongs with the silver side. So let's put that in. I suspect it'll be fine with the other way too, but you've already got a thread on one side, so why not use it? Okay. Goes in and start to tighten. Alright, so it's just about tight. At this point, I think we can go tight all the way actually. There's no reason to leave it loose. So tight. And you need that long stem for the torque. You really do, especially when you're opening it up for the first time. It was a lot of effort. Alright, so you want it tight enough, but not too tight so you can open it up again. There we go. Right. Now flip it over and put the other ones in. And they just go through here and one into the other. Make sure that when you do open it, you open the black side first, because you will not be able to open up the silver side. Right, that's a very big hint, that one. You must open up the black side first before you open up the silver side, or else it will not open. Alright, there we go. Right, alright, so we've tightened it up. Now, the thing is we need to straighten up the steering. So we'll put the stand down just to be safe. Need the Allen key. Yep, so if you want to stand up, Raya. So if you have a look, come around this side and have a look down. Come over here and look downwards so you can see the steering wheel is, a bit higher up. There we go. So you can see the steering wheel is clearly, actually if you stand like that, it's crooked. I don't know, can you see that it's crooked?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. So what we're going to do is, much like how we do it on bicycles, where we put the wheel in between our legs and we straighten up the steering wheel, because I haven't tightened it up all the way, I can move it. So let's have a look now. No, it's still really crooked. Hang on. let's have a look now. And I think fraction off to the left. Alright. Now, I think that's dead on. I think that's perfectly straight. Yep. Straight enough anyway. So now we will tighten up the stem over here. We will make it super tight so that it doesn't rotate. And then I think that's it. So in all the way. Remember, righty-tighty,
Lefty.
loosey. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Like from the movie Arthur.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's in there.
Oh, okay. Well, hang on. Now, you will have to do this really tight. It's very important that you do this as tight as can be.
Thank you very much.
Ah. And as you tighten one, the other one will be loose.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I think that was tight enough because I remember when I originally had it. What was that? Oh, that was the stand. I remember that these were just poking out, so it looks about right. I'll just make sure that this one doesn't move anymore. No, that's tight. And that one is... Right, moved a little bit too. Cool. Right, so that should be it. That should be tight enough. I don't think it needs any more. No, it's not going to move anymore. So now, steering nice and smooth. Can you bring it right down here? You can hear. Clearly no sand in there. Rotating it. Sounds really good. Before it was not sounding good at all. No. Oh, there's a... Oh no, sorry, here. Yep. No vertical movement, no horizontal movement. Sounds good. What I'll do is I'll take off my torch over here.
Taking off my
Damn. I'm almost thinking I should put that the other way around. Anyway. So, now if I thump it. No vibration.
Thank you very much.
What we'll do is we'll take it outside now for a test spin. Yep. Happy with that. Steering wheel is dead centered. Now before it wasn't. Really there was no excuse. When this left the factory micro scooter it should have been centered. But that looks good.